You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. Accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize? If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth by which no one was ever truly harmed. It is the person who continues in his self-deception and ignorance who is harmed. I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself in your way of thinking. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own, not of the same blood and birth, but the same mind and possessing a share of the divine. And so none of them can hurt me, no one can implicate me in ugliness, nor can I feel angry at my relative, or hate him. We were born to work together like feet, hands and eyes like the 2 rows of teeth, upper and lower. To obstruct each other is unnatural. To feel anger at someone, to turn your back on him. These are unnatural. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears. Live a good life. If there are gods and they are just, then they will not care how devout you have been, but will welcome you based on the virtues you have lived by. If there are gods but unjust, then you should not want to worship them. If there are no gods, then you will be gone, but will have lived a noble life that will live on in the memories of your loved ones. When another blames you or hates you, or people voice similar criticisms, go to their souls, penetrate inside, and see what sort of people they are. You will realize that there is no need to be racked with anxiety that they should hold any particular opinion about. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? The first rule is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life, now take what's left and live it properly. What doesn't transmit light creates its own darkness, and here is a rule to remember in future, when anything tempts you to feel bitter. Not this is misfortune, but to bear this worthily is good fortune. Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look. How much time he gains who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does or thinks, but only at what he does himself to make it just and holy. You always own the option at having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. These things are not asking to be judged by you. Leave them alone. Today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness. All of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil. What we do now echoes in eternity. You are a little soul carrying about a corpse, as Epictetus used to say. every act of your life as though it were the very last act of your life. It was neat I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness, all of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil. But for my part, I have long perceived the nature of good and its nobility, the nature of evil and its meanness, and also the nature of the culprit himself, who is my brother not in the physical sense, but as a fellow creature similarly endowed with reason and a share of the divine. Therefore, none of those things can injure me, for nobody can implicate me in what is degrading. Neither can I be angry with my brother or fall of him. For he and I were born to work together like a man's two hands, feet or eyelids, or the upper and lower rows of his teeth. To obstruct each other is against nature's law, and what is irritation or aversion but a form of obstruction? Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours. Perfection of character is this, to live each day as if it were your last, without frenzy, without apathy, without pretense. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Look back over the past with its changing empires that rose and fell, and you can foresee the future too. For it is in your power to retire into yourself whenever you choose. When you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do? Or is this what I was created for? To huddle under the blankets and stay warm. Your days are numbered. Use them to throw open the windows of your soul to the sun. If you do not, the sun will soon set and you with it. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Remember that very little is needed to make a happy life. A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions. To never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect. Casting aside other things, hold to the precious few. And besides, bear in mind that every man lives only the present, which is an indivisible point, and that all the rest of his life is either past or is uncertain. Brief is man's life, and small the nook of the earth where he lives. Brief, too, is the longest posthumous fame, buoyed only by a succession of poor human beings who will very soon die and who know little of themselves, much less of someone who died long ago. Don't go on discussing what a good person should be, just be one. Receive without conceit, release without struggle. If any man despises me, that is his problem. My only concern is not doing or saying anything deserving of contempt. It is in your power to withdraw yourself whenever you desire. Perfect tranquility within consists in the good ordering of the mind, the realm of your own. Just that you do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter. Cold or warm, tired or well-rested, despised or honored, dying, or busy with other assignments, because dying too is one of our assignments in life. There is much to do what needs doing. Look inward. Don't let the true nature of anything elude you. Before long, all existing things will be transformed to rise like smoke, assuming all things become one, or be dispersed in fragments, to move from one unselfish act to another with God in mind. Only there, delight and stillness, when jarred unavoidably by circumstances, revert at once to yourself and don't lose the rhythm more than you can help. You'll have a better grasp of the harmony if you keep going back to it. How ridiculous and how strange to be surprised at anything which happens in life. A person's worth is measured by the worth of what he values. The things you think about determine the quality of your mind.
Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, is celebrated for his philosophical work, Meditations. In this collection of personal writings, Aurelius reflects on Stoic principles and offers insights on virtue, resilience, and the impermanence of life. One of his most famous quotes is, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." This profound statement underscores Aurelius' emphasis on the internal cultivation of a content and virtuous life. Meditations remains a timeless guide to ethical living, resonating with readers seeking wisdom and tranquility in the midst of life's challenges.